Welcome back to the Eagles football pregame show, which is presented by Rockwell Law. It's time now to hear from the head coach of the Eagles, Brian Kennedy. I'm Paul Barnes. Coach, here we are, week 4. How would you assess your team's performance collectively through the first 3 weeks of the season?
Well, 3-0, there's not much to complain about, right? I think there's still things that we need to continue to work on. We've seen some different opponents in those first 3 games, which has been good. We've gotten some different looks. We've had to deal with some adversity early. Last year, when I think about it, we really didn't get any adversity until the state semis, and then certainly the state championship game. So it's good for some of these guys that haven't played, especially that first 2 games, to get a feel for, hey, we're down a little bit, right? Or some things aren't going our way. How do we respond? And so I've been very, very pleased with how they've responded.
So tonight you return home to face Tiffin Columbian, a team which you've played the last several years. Let's talk about last week's game before Tiffin Columbian. Let's rewind to the big win over Westerville North. You jump out to a 38-0 lead at the break, then kind of put it on cruise control the rest of the way. A lot of guys got some valuable playing experience in the second half. You got a lot of younger players. Your defense was suffocating. Westerville North only gained 20 yards net for the whole game. Just a tremendous effort all around, I thought. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought we had a really good week of practice. I thought the kids were focused. When we had opportunities in the game, offense and defense, we took advantage of it. The momentum and energy that they had to start the game with, they played all the way through the first half. And, it's always great when we can get younger guys on the field on Friday nights, because during the week, right, they get beat on, right, by the older guys. And so they certainly get their opportunities on Saturday mornings, but to be out there on Friday nights is special.
That Belisari connection was working well for you guys in the first half of play. Carter had 120 yards receiving and a score before the break. So can you just talk about their connection, how it continues to evolve for your team?
Yeah, it's what we see every day in practice with those two. And I'm sure they've probably been throwing the ball. They've probably been playing catch since they could throw a football, right? And so, Drew's been phenomenal, right? Drew was phenomenal last year. I swear it gets better every single day. And Carter, it's funny because Carter started at corner for us last year, played a little receiver. So it's probably surprising some people as they watch games how good Carter is, but it's not a surprise to the rest of us.
He's a freak athlete, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. We are with Watterson head football coach Brian Kennedy before tonight's game against Tiffin Columbian, and Seth Shaner, who's doing play-by-play tonight, wanted me to ask you about your starting guards, the 2 juniors, the 2 newcomers to the starting lineup on your O-line, Max Diato and George Pedro. Can you just talk about how they've performed this year through 3 games?
Yeah, and then you throw in Cohen Distal, who is also it's like a 3-man rotation.
A triumvirate there.
Yeah. Those big shoes to fill. Obviously we moved Blaze Strasbaugh from guard to center this year. I think those guys have stepped right in. They both had really good, or all 3 of them had really good summers. So again, those are guys that worked really hard, didn't get an opportunity last year as sophomores, and are taking advantage of it this year.
Seth also wanted me to ask you about Dash Hoy, who a lot of Watterson fans have asked me about. He's new to the school. He transferred from Buckeye Valley. And you talk about a guy with a lot of upside. My goodness, the fastest guy on the team who runs a 4.5 40 legit. Can you just, and I know he's only eligible for the first half of the season being a transfer, but can you just talk about what the impact he's had on the program thus far and maybe on into the future, what he'll bring?
Well, first and foremost, he's a great kid, great family. His brother plays football. He's a freshman, Caden. I've been super impressed with Dash, super impressed. It's like after a few days, it felt like he had been here the whole time, that he hadn't transferred in. Dash is super athletic. Dash can do a lot of things that a lot of people can't do. We are really, really excited for what he's going to do on the field for us coming, next 2 years.
And now we turn our focus to tonight's opponent, the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes, a team which you beat the last 2 years. Last year, you went up there and really thumped them, but they were kind of in flux a little bit. They're a little bit younger team, so obviously improved team this year. What on film has your concern about Tiffin Columbian facing them?
Well, I think first and foremost, they're very well coached. They play very hard. It's not a team that if they get down a couple scores, they're going to give up. They're going to work first quarter through the fourth quarter. Skill wise on offense, I think they're really good skill positions, good O line. Defensively, they like to bring pressure. They're going to test us. They're going to especially test our O line with different stunts and blitzes and how they're going to mix things up. They're going to come out and play hard. This is a challenge tonight.
Other than the obvious of getting the W tonight, what do you really want to see your team do well on the field tonight?
I really like that we didn't turn the ball over last week, since we tended to do that in the first two games. It's just we got to get a little bit better, right? We got to, like, we had a good week of practice, right? Like, let's make sure that correlates to execution on the field on Friday night.
Get you out.
Execution on the field on Friday night.
Get you out.